Breaking news, the White House facing fresh accusations against the president, and the word criminal is being attached to Joe Biden's name for a witness who has come forth. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. A new whistleblower. That's a technical and legal term when it comes to evidence. This person says the FBI and DOJ have a file which allegedly links then Vice President Joe Biden to a criminal bribery scheme, an exchange of cash for certain policy decisions. The House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed FBI Director Christopher Wray for documents. They want Wray to turn over that specific file at a meeting that they will have 6 days from now, May 10th. Committee Chair James Comer and Senator Chuck Grassley are leading the charge on this.
We have a rough idea of what's in the document, and I just want to do what congressional oversight responsibilities I have to see what the FBI's and the DOJ's done to follow up on it. Has there been political influence to not proceed if there's reasonable possible criminal activity?
And this directly from the White House now. Quote, Republicans in Congress have been lobbying unfounded, unproven, politically motivated attacks against the president and his family without offering evidence for their claims or evidence of decisions influenced by anything other than U.S. interests, end quote. We begin with Peter Doocy, live at the White House. Peter.
That White House statement continues as White House officials claim that Republicans in Congress prefer floating anonymous innuendo amplified by the megaphone of their allies in right-wing media to get attention and try to distract and deflect from their own unpopular ideas and lack of solutions to the issues the American people actually care about. When it comes to President Biden's personal finances, anybody can take a look. He has offered an unprecedented level of transparency, releasing a total of 25 years of tax returns to the American public. Chuck Grassley is one of the people that sent this letter to the FBI and the DOJ. He says, I believe the FBI possesses an unclassified internal document that includes very serious and detailed allegations implicating the current president of the United States. What we don't know is what, if anything, the FBI has done to verify these claims or investigate further. And that's the key. Lawmakers have not seen this document yet, and congressional investigations to date have not produced any solid proof of wrongdoing by the Biden family. However, some in the Senate are already looking beyond the investigations and to possible conclusions.
It doesn't have to be a high crime or misdemeanor because the Constitution specifies that impeachment lies for treason, bribery, or other high crimes or misdemeanors. Bribery is explicitly noted in the Constitution. And I got to say, the evidence, not only against Hunter Biden, but the evidence against Joe Biden being complicit and profiting from this corruption is growing and growing and growing.
And we just don't know who this whistleblower is or what kind of a source would have talked to the FBI or the DOJ that would produce this document that now these Republicans in Congress want to see. Harris.
All right, Peter Doocy, we'll get into what we do know about that whistleblower in a moment. Appreciate you getting us started with your great reporting as always. The New York Post with wordplay goldmine here. Their cover today, Joe Bribin. Ben Domenech, Fox News contributor and editor-at-large for The Spectator. So, Ben, you see Republicans, and Senator Grassley has quite the reputation for how he handles so meticulously investigations. So we don't know all of what he has yet. But a lot of confidence coming from Republicans that he's got something, tying evidence into what could be charges against the president.
Well, Chuck Grassley has an excellent reputation when it comes to his meticulous approaches, as you just said. He's someone who does these things not in a fly-by-night manner and doesn't get out over his skis when it comes to the claims that he's willing to make. And that's why I think he's being very careful in what he's saying here about what he knows and what he believes is in this file that they are requesting. Keep in mind, just in the larger picture of things, Harris, we saw the full weaponization of so many different aspects of lawfare against former President Trump. We continue to see it used against him in very aggressive investigations where the investigations themselves were designed to disrupt his administration. We see nothing like that under Joe Biden. Instead, it seems like their approach is to use kid gloves, even though there are serious questions, particularly related to the financial pattern and history of Hunter Biden that could have benefited larger members of the family, that it seems like a lot of our bureaucracies are just trying to look the other way throughout this presidency in order to keep it from having any kind of speed bumps as it continues its policy approach. That's the kind of thing that Republicans on Capitol Hill are not going to stand for. They're going to demand answers, and we'll have to wait and see what's in these documents in terms of measuring how much they really impact and show the potential for real bribery in this situation.
Well, and in the majority, they can subpoena. And that's going to be a challenge for the Biden White House and administration at this point. Right now, and Peter did allude to this, I want to get more into this about the whistleblower. We do not know that person's identity. Here's what we do know, though, according to published reports. This would be a different person than the IRS agent who came forth just last month alleging the Biden administration is mishandling or covering up the investigation into Hunter Biden. This whistleblower points to an FBI form known as an FD 1023, which documents an interview with a source. The contents of that form or file have not yet been seen by Congress. Republicans claim that document is unclassified. So potentially, Ben, we'll know what's in it. And when we do, we'll know what Congress knows at that point, and we'll see if they charge the president.
Well, certainly, I think one of the things that is of note here, just given the fact that we have these different tracks with different whistleblowers, is that, related to Joe Biden, I think a lot of us have said, look, maybe there's proof of some unethical activity when it comes to the financial side of things, the implication potentially that he was involved to a greater degree or aware of things that Hunter was doing that could potentially be illegal. What we haven't really seen yet is a direct quid pro quo claim that has been justified in a serious manner by the evidence. This could change all of that. It could be something that could change the conversation about whether there was a direct line between financial benefits for Joe Biden or the Biden family and decisions that he was making or influencing while in office. That's a completely different level of serious offense. And it's something that the Congress will obviously respond to.
Well, and it doesn't have anything to do with Hunter Biden and his shady business deals. I mean, that becomes a side hustle that is quite potent if the president is shown to have behavior that would be consistent with a crime. We don't know what we don't know yet. I do say this. Democrats are watching this, too. Fox News contributor Richard Fowler was on my Power panel yesterday, and he made an interesting point. I mean, even if it means subpoenaing the president, look at this.
What you have happening here over and over again is Republicans pointing to this drip, drip, drip worth of evidence on Hunter Biden. And my point here is if you have it and you have all this evidence, call a hearing. Subpoena Hunter Biden. You have the power to subpoena. And when you're done subpoenaing him, send recommendations to the Justice Department who have an investigation open against him.
Yeah, and he went on to say, because I asked him, well, would you want to see the president subpoenaed? And Richard said, yeah, whatever it takes to stop the drip, drip, drip. Now, there are two lanes why that might want to be the case, right? They're trying to get ready for a presidential campaign that could win re-election. This is a side show of its own that they can't answer to potentially in the White House. So that's one reason. Anything else you can think of?
Well, I think that the other thing is that they're learning from the mistakes that Democrats made over the past several years when it came to dealing with former President Trump, that they kind of rushed ahead with a lot of hearings where they didn't really know what the answers to certain questions were going to be. They created sideshows without actually getting into the nitty-gritty of issues, in large part because there was nothing there to be found, no actual evidence to support the kind of claims that they were making. I think this time around, Republicans want to get their ducks in a row. They want to know what they think actually happened before they start asking those questions of Hunter Biden and others who should be called and should be subpoenaed. I agree with Richard Fowler on that as soon as possible.
Ben Domenech, always great to have you in focus and get us started here with our first guest of the hour.